What if there was a way to know exactly what your employees knew and what they didn't know so that you could train them effectively and you could ensure that they are maximizing the profitability on every project they work on? Hi, my name is Phil Zito. I'm the founder and CEO of Building Automation Monthly, where we help companies to assess their existing employees, to determine where their employees are at, and then to develop those employees through training that reduces their time to revenue and increases their profitability per employee. So how do you go about really digging deep and figuring out what people know and what people don't know? Now, I've seen it all. I've seen quantitative assessments. I've seen qualitative. So quantitative are like yes and no questions. Qualitative are feeling questions. I've seen things like 360 reviews. I've seen things like interviews and job assessments and employee and peer feedbacks. So how do you take all of these different tools and how can you utilize these tools to be able to assess your team? I'm going to tell you that in these kind of 3 tips. So tip number 1 is in most cases, you're going to want to use quantitative assessments, not qualitative assessments. And here's the reason why. Quantitative assessments are based on data. They're based on true, false, multiple choice, factual questions that either demonstrate that you have the knowledge or don't demonstrate, or demonstrate that you don't have the knowledge. Now, there's a downside to quantitative questions. If they're poorly written, they can be hard to interpret. They can actually end up giving you results that aren't very clear and aren't reliable. But if they're good questions, if they're written and they utilize multiple different methods, you are able to quantitatively assess your team. So when I'm talking about quantitatively assess a team, you may go and have some questions. Look at the programming and tell me what the program's doing. And you'd have some snapshots of a program. Or look at these parameters and effectively size a valve actuator. Or look at these different codes, these ASHRAE codes, and tell me which one is related to thermal comfort or indoor air quality. These are quantitative questions that determine whether a candidate or an employee has knowledge associated with that domain. Okay, so you create quantitative questions. That's great. Tip number 2 is to look at your job descriptions, right? Look at your job descriptions. Take some time, lay them out on the table. Look at the job descriptions and then develop quantitative questions based on the skills in the job description. So we have an assessment and it's based on 45 different domains at the time of this recording. There's probably more if you're watching this in the future, but right now there's 45 different domains we test on. And we look at these domains and we're able to work with companies to align these domains to specific tasks on their job descriptions. So by doing this, what that does is that creates a job description focused assessment that is built on domains that now you're able to, 1, quantitatively assess that employee, but you're able to quantitatively assess them to their specific skill set. And then tip number 3, right? Tip number 3 is to go and look at the results and then to continuously adjust the assessment based on the results. And so this is something that it took us a little bit of time to figure out. Because, we started to see the quantitative assessments, we took the domains, and that was going really good. But we started to notice candidates and employees started to miss specific questions. And then we started to look at the wording, we tweaked the wording, we were evaluating the questions for clarity, and we were evaluating the questions to see if they really gave the results and information that we were looking for. So it's not enough to just create the quantitative questions. It's not enough to just align them with a domain. This has to be an iterative process where you are actually then going and revising the questions, adding questions. And this all kind of ties back to a greater business strategy of, hey, we're watching our projects, we're watching our forecasts, we're watching our execution. We know what we're performing on, what we're not performing on, and we're building that feedback mechanism into our assessment to assess our team, and then we're taking those results and building training based on that. Now, if this seems overwhelming, if you're like, holy crud, how do I go and actually implement all this? I really encourage you to reach out to us via the link in the comments below, and I encourage you to go to that link and reach out to us because we have a full turnkey assessment built out to help assess your employees and to help you build out training plans based on those assessment results. Because training's all we do, It's all we do 24/7, every day of the week, and we're here for you. I look forward to hearing how you're using assessments, skill assessments, and building those into your training and employee development within your company in the comments below. Thanks a ton. Take care.